So let me ask you, what do you see now, bro? Because we were there at the same time. We were in TNA back in that 2005 era, whatever, which talent-wise was such a great era. But what do you see now as the biggest difference now that you come back to this company, 13 years later or whatever it is?
Sure. I think just the overall energy and the leadership mindset, right, of kind of the blueprint of how the company's going to do its business.
Right.
And that means how you treat the talent, how you do your business with other promotions, all those factors, and I think that, the old mindset that was TNA, that certain people brought in and continue to kind of perpetuate through the people that were brought in during the different regimes. Man, it's all been eradicated, right? Like it's different. It's a different. When I sit down and talk to the guys that are making decisions now, I feel like I can look in their eyes and get a straight answer and understand exactly the vision they have and how they want to do business with people. And to me, that was the most important thing more than anything else when I came back on board, and kind of getting rid of that old kind of, carny wrestling mentality of always feeling like everyone's being worked all the time and just getting back to doing good business. There was a time where we used to be able to, do business on a handshake, look in a guy's eyes and do a handshake and your word meant something. And somewhere along the ways with contracts and things like that, it's only the letter of the law that matters. Words don't mean shit. But, maybe we can bring back a system where people's words should mean something and hopefully we can start ushering that through, working with other promotions and just a good energy, good leadership. All the guys in the positions that are making important decisions all have the experience of putting their boots on and having that perspective, which I think is helpful and important a lot of times in keeping that connection with the talent.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. You did a pretty good in-ring promo the other day. Not this past week, I think the week before. What is the difference? Okay, from the time you get to the building to the time you go out on TV. Okay, what is the difference in the creative process in WWE? Like, say you're showing up at the show and say this is Raw and this is
right
and this is okay, but both shows, and your gimmick is you're doing an in-ring promo that night. Okay. What's the difference between the creative process when you get to the arena and the WWE compared to TNA or Impact? Excuse me.
Yeah. Wow. It's completely night and day, right? It's hard to really compare the two because, first of all, the size of the beasts are different. The size of what you're producing, the teams, all of it. I mean, it's just a lot of different factors. So, right now, I think what's benefiting what we're doing with Impact is for a guy like me, when I come in on a day like this, I may already know, kind of have an outline that maybe I'm doing an in-ring that day. They may have buzzed me, or that, I may already kind of know. And then when I get there, we may sit down and talk about the idea of what needs to be accomplished with the segment. But from there, a lot of times for a guy like me, then they let me go and fill the blanks in and go paint the picture. And then we can get back together and I can give them my ideas of what I'm thinking and they can go, yeah, that's good, or have this idea, or if I have some questions. It's a really cool atmosphere where
it's very collaborative.
Allowed to come in. Collaborative, man. And listen, and for certain guys, and with, I think the key of a strong team in leadership, whether is that the guys that need to be managed, right, and the guys that can kind of manage themselves,
right.
And that way, because you can't give everybody equal time. So I'm grateful for the fact that they know that, hey, they can leave some things for me to just take care of, and that gives them more time to spend with some of the younger guys and girls who right now need, where I was 10 years ago, and I needed some of that guidance and leadership. And
okay, I'd like to
micromanage where you should, and otherwise get out of people's way and let them do what they do better than other. That's why we got people in here, because they're good at what they do.
That's an intelligent, creative team that identifies that person, and it saves them time too. They don't got to be fucking with you. They know that you can take care of your shit. It's kind of funny. I was reading here on the Wikipedia that when you debuted, which I always loved this character, and I don't think you did, but the Star is Born. Okay, it says here that it was in the Kevin Nash Open Invitational X Division Gauntlet Battle Royal, and after the match, Kevin presented Star with a bowling trophy and a hug. I like that.
and two of the biggest things that I've ever won in the business right there was the trophy and the hug
That's
from Big
tremendous.
Cat. Seriously, right now, that Battle Royal was so much fun. I remember, I remember all sorts of stuff. Zach Allen was in there and did some stuff with him. That was pretty funny. What was the really jacked Canadian girl they had?
Oh yeah, that was Scott. That's
Griselda.
the first girl.
Yeah.
She was Canadian, remember? Zelda or something?
She was Canadian. We did like a double nut shot spot, but I made her sell hers too.
Right.
That was.
Do you remember that girl, a disco?
I don't remember. I'm completely
From
blank.
Canada. Yeah, she was
a muscled up Canadian chick. I don't remember.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't know. She was like discount Nicole Bass. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you.
Griselda or something. Anyway.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. This is around 2006. You were in when you were in Impact. Were you in the reverse battle royal?
No, I missed out on that
there has been we have a point of contention on the show. We've been arguing about this. We had Pat Kenny on here, and Frankie Kazarian, who has been known through his professional wrestling career to have taken copious notes since the day he started to basically track everything. Okay, insists that Pat Kenny was the creator of the reverse battle royal, that it was his idea, and Pat still, even though we've had Frankie Kazarian on the show, denies it. Can you lend any credibility to Pat Kenny's denial of the reverse battle royal?
I've heard the same story, that the credit goes to the genius mind of Pat Kenny. But I also, in Pat's defense, I also heard that I think it was said in jest, but then there was someone in the room who went, "No, wait, that's a good idea," and there was no one else in the room who go, "No, it's not." That was a joke. Jesus Christ, guys, be careful what you say in jest in here, okay? Let's. But yeah, so I think it was said like, "Hey, we'll do a reverse battle royal," and then it was, "No, wait a minute, that we're onto something." That would be like having an all cage pay-per-view. Don't bring the cage.
Now, are you watching the WWE product?
I'll be honest, man. I don't really watch a lot of wrestling. I just don't, And I think people go, "Really?" I go, "Well, twofold. First of all, there was a point in time where I loved wrestling, and but I'm not a wrestling junkie per se. Like, I've got other things that I'm interested in. I don't have a ton of free time between traveling and doing all the stuff we got to do to stay in the ring. But also, like, most wrestling's not really catered to me. Like, I'm not a kid, and that's a lot of the guys who kind of complain to me about the product. It's like, well, you're not a kid, man. And like, it's catered to sell T-shirts and merchandise to kids and their parents. Like, so, I think that's why with maybe what we're doing in Impact and some other places, you're seeing a resurgence in more adult-oriented like entertainment when it comes to pro wrestling, because that's been missing for a long time. And there's some things that maybe we can do with Impact that maybe a corporate wrestling product wouldn't be able to touch. And I think there's a lot of adults who miss what pro wrestling can give them too. So I don't watch a ton of it. I watch enough to know what's going on, and but I think too sometimes it's good not to be too watching it, because then that way your ideas are your ideas, and you're coming with something that's maybe not. It'd be like being a musician and listening to a ton of music and then going to sit down and write an album and not have it influence what you're going to do necessarily. There's a positive and a negative to both sides of that. There's a balance there,
Well, I agree with you, because me and Disco, we grew up loving wrestling. We all did. That's why we got into the business, and we all used to watch tapes, and we all used to love to watch the shows because they were great. And then like now we have to review pay-per-views, and I'll only watch the condensed version, or even the Raw. We can't sit through that either, so we just watch the condensed version, And like you say, that's what's happening with WWE. It's almost like if you're watching Nickelodeon,
Yeah,
and it's catered for kids.
Hey, I got a story. I got a question here too. This is a story you had. So a few years ago, I think it might have been. Remember when Dana White tweeted out wrestling is fake, and a lot of everybody got and everything. And I tweeted something too, and you responded, bro. Did you have a story of the first time I met you? Because it wasn't very complimentary. You said what I said to you. Yeah, the first time we met. I don't remember this, but I want you to relive the first time we met.
I was tagging along with Sean Davari because we went and did Dr. Tom's seminar. This is probably 2004, early 2004. It was like right before I kind of broke out and did really the Ring of Honor. All this was right before all that stuff started happening. I was traveling out. So I tagged along with him. We did the Dr. Tom seminar. Then he had a match set up in Nashville when they were still doing the tapings there, and way back in the day. And so I was tagging along for that And so, yeah, man, we showed up, and I didn't know anybody. I was, just tagging along. And yeah, dude, I'm 20. I'm still, 3 years in the business, 4 years. And yeah, we met and introduced myself, and you said, yeah, they keep building them smaller.
I really said that. I find that. I'll be honest with you. I find that I could see me. Was it just me, or was I with a couple people we were like cutting up?
Well, it was like, is in the back area or whatever, and we're just passing through. We're passing through, and I introduced myself, and you're just like, hey, keep it a little small. And I just kind of looked at you. I know it's cool, all good. Like, yes, they do, and I was.
Don't try to shift the heat, Disco. You should have teabagged him.
I could see me saying if I was joking around a bunch of people, if it was like a one-on-one conversation and I met somebody like that, I wouldn't say that.
Yes, no, it wasn't like you and me. It was like I was with Sean. Dude, I was the awkward guy in the back. As we're passing through, and then he's there because he's booked, and I'm the guy was tagging along, and I'm just trying to introduce. And dude, I'm 18 years in, and I'm still fucking socially. Excuse my language. I just dropped the first F-bomb, so I'm still socially awkward in the locker rooms, and the whole ritual of going around and shaking hands and stuff can be tedious. I think we can all agree on that, and can be awkward and weird, especially if you're the new guy in. So yeah, it was just one of those, and it was just in passing, and you just kind of quipped it. But hey, like, man, I got a huge Napoleon complex, for Christ's sake, right?
But here's the thing with Disco, though. That's the type of shit he would do. Instead of meeting a young guy and go, hey man, what's up? How you doing? Nice to meet you. They keep making him short, and he's a dick. So that was a dick move.
You gotta stop it, please.
Yeah, it's all right.
That is fake news. That is absolutely fake news.
That is real. That is.
Man, I was like, man, I was crushed. Like, man, I was just gonna really ask you to show me some of your wrestling techniques, and now what?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Well, look, now here's the great part of wrestling camaraderie, Austin.
Yeah.
Now, 18 years later, you guys have become bike partners.
We're gonna start our own bike tours in the mountains.
Right.
Come ride with Disco and Aries. It's gonna be awesome. We'll go and we'll bike, and we'll go right to a vegan cafe afterwards, and it'll be wonderful. And we'll do a book signing, and then the whole nine.
Right.
Cool.